This is Jim Nowakowski again with Kathy after hours, after the presentation, and I couldn't let her go without asking a few questions. Kathy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jim.
Good. So, Kathy, one of the things after the presentation that's burning in my mind, and I'm sure in the people that have listened to this either live or podcast, what are some of your favorite pieces? You've got over 200. What are some of your favorites? Can you talk about that for a minute?
Well, sure. That's actually kind of hard because there are so many. Might be a cliche to say they're all my babies, so how can I pick? But I have to say I'm going to narrow it down to maybe a few. The florid leaves design we have is one that has just stood the test of time. It's just such an appealing sort of sculptural ginkgo-inspired motif. And there's a knob and two pulls and a bend pull and an appliance pull that all go with it in the suite. And that design has just had appeal since day one. 24 years ago, we added that one to the line. So, and it's still one of our most popular. And then I'd have to say our Portobello Road. This is a little bit of an oversized pole, and there's a knob and other pieces that go with it, back plates. But that Portobello Road is such a substantial, classical, sort of Renaissance era motif that it has, kind of English looking, and it just really makes a statement. People can get it with little touches of Swarovski crystals, just embellishing it in a subtle way, or they can get it without crystals. So that one, especially in the 24 karat gold, has a really great wow factor. We've got an oak leaf that is just incredible because it looks like you picked a leaf right up off the ground. It's got this great realistic detail, and it comes in all kinds of finishes, pewter, copper, brass, but one of the most striking ways is hand-tinted brass, where we've hand-painted it in fall colors. So that is a favorite. And, I have to include two. We have a Hope Blossom design that we brought into the line in 2010, so 10 years ago. It was inspired by a stylized peanut plant, which is really unusual. It's kind of got a nouveau feel to it, but that was developed in response to our desire to help people in South Sudan. They've had terrible poverty. They still do, war-torn areas. So we give 75% of the profits of that hardware to South Sudan Voices of Hope. And I don't publicize it a lot, but it does sell. People like it, and they're doing something great when they purchase it. So those would be my top favorites, I'd say.
Wow. They shout luxury. They also shout empathy, in terms of the last one especially. That's great. So this is hard. This is a tough question, I'm sure, but I think you can handle it, and I'm going to throw it out there. What do you tell a designer that makes you different? I mean, what you just described obviously is a differentiation, because I quite frankly, I don't see that in the hardware we look at. But if you were, besides the luxury aspect of how your hardware really positions itself, what would you tell a designer that might help them position your product against the other products out there when they're talking to their clients?
Well, I think time and time again, it just comes back to the artisan nature, the art vibe that Notting Hill offers. It's handmade in the U.S., and as such, we've incorporated special touches like hand painting, our fruit bouquet, our hand-painted macaw birds, our Tuscan bounty, our olive branches, the leafy branches, pearly pea pods. They all have hand painting, and I don't see that out there in the market. So if people are looking for something different, the hand painting is a great feature. And we also have enamel, our royal palms and our our prairie tulips, our Southwest treasure, and our monarch butterflies have beautiful enamel color that is almost like cloisonne. It's gorgeous. Something else that's different, there are some companies, I guess, that have semi-precious stones, but we have several lines that incorporate semi-precious stones, and we've added a lot more colors this year. Another thing we have that differentiates us from others is we do have like some Swarovski pearls and crystals on a couple select items. I guess finally I'd say maybe the custom engraved kitchen ID line. We've got a number of pieces that in that line that already are, they already exist, but that you can custom engrave it and personalize your cabinet pulls. That's a really nice feature, and people have really picked up on that for vacation homes, for Airbnb, that kind of thing, for cabins. That just really is a nice feature that would definitely differentiate us from other hardware lines.
That pretty much explains it. You used the word art vibe before. I'm looking for technology that can take your pieces and bring them right out of the computer screen. Do you know of technology that exists like that? No, I'm kidding. Because you make, when you're using the words to describe your pieces, it's like you want to touch them. You know what I'm saying? Is that what you mean by art vibe?
Yes. You definitely want to see, touch, and feel them. There's so much, so many senses that are incorporated in our hardware because it is so visual. I mean, it's different because it's a little piece of art. There's color, there's texture, they're little sculptures, there's great intricate detail. So it's just, they are little pieces of art. Some people say they're jewelry for your cabinets.
So do you think that's what you meant, or is the art vibe part of what you mean when you say customers take these pieces with them? Because I heard you talk about that, and I'm always curious what when they actually take their hardware with them when they move.
Yeah, they do. Not everybody, but we've heard of so many customers that have done this because it's an investment, but it's also something that they're just so fond of and they're so attached to. It's not just a functional, plain piece of hardware, which has its place for sure. But with our hardware, like my friend Sonia purchased the Victorian jewel knobs, and they have semi-precious stone cabochons in the middle. And she moved from Wisconsin to Florida. She said, "No way am I leaving that hardware behind. It's a little treasure to me." And our daughter and son-in-law purchased their first home. They put the pewter Saddleworth design into their kitchen, and now they've moved again, and they uninstalled all of it, and they're bringing it to their next home in Yelm, Washington. So
wow.
I think it's pretty common.
So do you think when Sonia took the hardware with her, did the new owners object? Did they call her up and say, "Where's that beautiful hardware?" I'm just kidding. No, that's great. Those are great stories. And actually, isn't that what art is all about? You don't leave the art when you sell something in your home. You actually take it with you, which speaks, I think, to a great deal of why your differentiation is in fact artwork. It's not just hardware. So
yeah, I like the way you put that. Mm-hmm.
I have one more question that I think it's very important to the designers who will listen to this in the future. I'd like you to talk to them directly and give them some words of Kathy's wisdom in terms of because you definitely put your heart and soul into your work. And is there anything you can tell them, some parting words for them to give them inspiration and that they deal, because the world is changing. We all know it's dramatically changing. Can you talk to them for a minute?
Sure. I guess I would just like to invite designers to discover Notting Hill, to take some time and and really look through our line and what we have to offer. With our 200 designs, if you add in all the different finishes and stone colors that we offer, you basically have over 1,100 different SKUs to choose from. And, we would love to work with them on their next project, any special project, whether it's a whole house or a kitchen or a small touch like in a powder room or a piece of furniture. People can take our hardware and put it in a new build or a remodel, but they can also change up the hardware or even add hardware to their cabinets. Maybe they've gone without hardware, and this will be something that will make all the difference. And our hardware will help your customer enhance and elevate their space with, art detail and just bring a little wow into their home. It's really a perfect way because we have so many themed items. We have things for
yes,
for people who love flowers, people who love the outdoors, people who are fishermen, golfers, the seaside. We have a seaside collection. We have palm trees, and we have these tropical birds that are amazing. So if people have an affinity for a certain, they just have a passion for a certain something in their life, this is a great way for your clients to reflect their personal style using hardware. We're a small company, so we're really responsive, where a larger company may or may not be so responsive with personal service, but we want to work with you. So, give us a call. We're here to help.
Well, in a very disruptive world, you offer comforting words that people, I think, in any kind of time in history, often people really use art to surround themselves with art, and it brings a lot of comfort. This is Jim Nowakowski with Kathy Dustman talking. She's the owner of Notting Hill Decorative Hardware. And I really can't thank you enough, Kathy, for the opportunity to talk to you today. And we really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you around the circuit, all right? You have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. It's been my pleasure.